Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Today is Tuesday, April 28th, and we are here for our admin matters meeting for the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County here in our hearing room at our Administrative Services Building. I call this meeting together at 9 o'clock. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand and join me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for joining us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shag-McNally, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. Welcome again. I'm glad you're all here today. Today we have some special proclamations that are near and dear to my heart. Joining me at the dais is Commissioner Kristen Stevens, and Commissioner Kafalis is excused and he may be joining us later. Also, we have with us today the clerk to the board, which we appreciate their diligence. They're fantastic. Deidre O'Neill from the clerk's office. Thank you, Deidre. We have our county manager, Lorenda Volkler. Good morning, Lorenda. Tom Clayton from the Commissioners and Public Information Office, and Sarah Martin, who works with Melissa and Brennan and does such a great job with us, helping us on these Tuesday mornings. So thank you all for being here. And now we're going to do public comment. I don't see we have anyone sign up for public comment. I'll just open it up to the room. Is there anyone who wants to do public comment? Okay, Sarah, is there anyone online?
No, Commissioner.
Great, we'll close public comment. Commissioner Stevens, since we don't have public comment, I'm going to ask to see if you had any changes or additions for the minutes.
I do not.
Would you please, I ask respectfully if you could move to approve the minutes, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes for the week of April 20th, 2026.
Thank you for that motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Let's go ahead and move on to our schedule. Sarah, if you could go through that would be great. Thank you.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for May 4th through May 9th, 2026. On Monday, May 4th, from 8:15 a.m. to 9:15 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together All-Member Human Services Consolidation/Regionalization meeting. From 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., there will be a work session with Human and Economic Health Services in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. On Tuesday, May 5th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shaddock-McNally will attend the National Association of Counties Western Interstate Region Conference. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery's The Year of Conversations series, Speaking Up for Cleaner Air at the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery at 408 Mason Court in Fort Collins. On Wednesday, May 6th, from 7:45 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the City of Fort Collins Larimer County Poudre School District Liaison meeting at the Carter Lake Conference Room on the first floor. From 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Extension Advisory Committee meeting at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shaddock-McNally will attend the National Association of Counties Western Interstate Region Conference. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Abundance Elected Fellowship Conference in Denver. From 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Shaddock-McNally may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Governing Board meeting. On Thursday, May 7th, from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will host a community conversation for the Wellington and Waverly communities regarding weed district services, the Water Master Plan and Broadband Update at Avuncular Bob's T-Bar Inn at 3803 West Cleveland Avenue in Wellington. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shaddock-McNally will attend the National Association of Counties Western Interstate Region Conference. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Abundance Elected Fellowship Conference in Denver. From 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Teen Activity Center 212 Annual Barbecue at 212 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins. On Friday, May 8th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the National Association of Counties Western Interstate Region Conference. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Abundance Elected Fellowship Conference in Denver. From 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the State Board of Human Services meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1575 Sherman Street in Denver or virtually via Zoom. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will participate in the virtual Ponderosa Mountain Pine Beetle Task Force meeting. From 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Final Policy meeting. From 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Arbor Day / City of Trees Award Ceremony at Lorene Edmondson Elementary at 307 West 49th Street in Loveland. On Saturday, May 9th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will host a community conversation for the LaPorte community at Me Oh My Pie at 3310 West County Road 54G in LaPorte. Topic and guests will be announced prior to the meeting. And from 12:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Estes Valley Watershed Fire Conference at the Estes Valley Community Center at 660 Community Drive in Estes Park.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there any things you'd like to change or add, Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah, so on Wednesday, May 6th, I will also attend the Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Governing Board meeting. I don't have to leave for my conference until late afternoon or evening. And then on Saturday, May 9th, from 5 to 8:30, I will attend the Homeward Alliance Gala, and that's at the Laurie Student Center. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And I just want to make sure what you have the Mountain Pine Beetle on the 8th all day. I'm going to have to double duty it for that. So they're adding those real quick because we have a deadline for the executive order by the governor to get things done before the end of June. So those are all stepping up. And I think that's it for now. So thank you. Okay, Commissioner Stevens, we'll talk about the consent agenda, which consists of items of no perceived controversy and routine administrative actions such as abatements, agreements, deeds, final plats, liquor license, resolutions, and other matters previously reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners, and staff recommends approval of these of this agenda. But a commissioner may request that item be pulled off the agenda, considered separately, and items pulled from the agenda will be considered after the board takes action. And I will read briefly and high level through the consent agenda. For those who are very interested in the details, you can go onto the Board of County Commissioners website and read through all of those details. And that is always available, our agendas and the in-depth points of the agendas. So for this one, for this Tuesday, April 28th, 2026, for the consent agenda, I'm not going to read through all of these, but we have 38 petitions for abatement. So I'm going to just leave those there and get to these pages through I get through the 38. And then we have agreements. We have the first agreement is a Windsor Severance Fire Protection District Cooperative Agreement for the Wildfire Resiliency Code Administration and Enforcement. That's with our Amy White and our Code Compliance and Community Development Department, which is a cooperative agreement that designates Larimer County as a central authority for plan review, field inspections, and enforcement for the adopted Wildfire Resiliency Code, which I'm really proud of our partnerships and the work that we're doing there cooperatively with the IGAs, with our fire districts. Important work. And then number 2 is the Livermore Fire Protection District Cooperative Agreement for the Wildfire Resiliency Code Administrative Enforcement. Same parties, but this time is the Livermore Fire Protection District. And then we have a Crystal Lakes Fire Protection District Cooperative Agreement for the Wildfire Resiliency Code Administration and Enforcement. Same same agreements with the Central Authority for Review for the Wildfire Resiliency Code. Thank you to our partners in the fire districts. We really value your expertise and your service, and thank you for those agreements. Then we have 2 liquor licenses. One is a liquor license renewal for the 1616 Champa LLC doing works as River Forks Inn, and that is in Drake, Colorado. And then we have a liquor license renewal for Colony Markets Limited doing business as Overland Foods in LaPorte, and that's for a fermented malt beverage and wine, and the other license was for a tavern. We have miscellaneous items. Number 1 is a title as Colorado Communities for Climate Action 2026 policy statement. This is a request for adoption of the 2026 policy statement. Larimer County has been, and the commissioners have been a member of Colorado Communities for Climate Action, CC4CA, since 2022, and as a member, we have a voice in policy statement, the policy statement for CC4CA, and they use this to guide their work. And there's an updated policy statement that has been vetted by members of our colleagues at CC4CA and the Larimer County Commissioners. And then we have a Larimer County Community Corrections 2.0 FTE request for our community justice alternatives, and this is for our strategic individualized remediation treatment program, and that's a very successful program, and the personnel and will be funded with already existing interview revenue, and so this has been reverted to for some offsets. So just wanted to talk about how important that program is. Then we have 16 stipulations for 2025 tax year. I won't read through all 16 of those, and those are listed in the agenda. And then lastly, we have a policy for the, again, policy for the Larimer County Sustainability, Climate, Environmental Stewardship Policy submitted by Heidi Pruis, our program manager. And this is, again, updating our 2023 Climate, Environmental Stewardship and Sustainable Policy and incorporating some of these changes that was mentioned earlier. Commissioner Stevens, do you have anything you'd like to pull off the agenda?
I do not, Madam Chair.
I would welcome a motion to approve that agenda.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda for April 28th, 2026.
Thank you for that motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. And we're going to move on to now. We have a commissioner's guest. I have a guest today will come up briefly, is our assessor, Bob Overbeck, who would like to briefly share with us about the new 2026 property evaluation opportunities and resources. And thank you, staff, for being here for a consent agenda. Assessor Overbeck, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Shattuck-Manelli, and thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Just want to give you an update here. You know, Larimer County, we have a commitment to excellence, innovation, and collaboration, and we're ready to send our notice of evaluation. We have to send one every year. What's unique about this one this year is, well, we're going to let folks know that there will be a reduction in value given what the legislature did a few years ago, and we have a notation on that at the bottom of the card. But if you look down on the card, you'll see a QR code. That's new this year. So now when folks get their notice of value, they can take their phone and scan it, and it'll take them right to the property record. They don't need to enter the address to the assessor on the web page. And so it's ease and speed for that service. It also helps my office internally because historically we had to key punch every account number in to log it. So now we just scan it in, and so we can record the record. On the following page, you'll see a little guy there with Go Paperless. The treasurer uses the same service now, so we're kind of piggybacking what the treasurer has. So about 9,000 property owners here in Larimer County will be getting an e-notice. They have to opt in to get it from the assessor's office. And if they wish to get notices moving forward, if they sign up through the assessor's office, I believe it will also allow them to get notices from the treasurer's office as well. So just a real quick update as to what's going on in the assessor's office and this notice. And so I thank you for your time and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Assessor Overbeck. We appreciate the work you do and the innovation on this QR code. Commissioner Stevens, did you have any questions?
Can you explain a little bit about the reduction in value piece?
Yeah, when the legislature passed in the special session in 2024, as you know, the assessment rates and the values, they keep adjusting them. So for tax year 2026, they're going to lower it by 10% on the government levy side. And that's it. And I do have a notice as to how that works. It'll be 10% up to $70,000 of the actual value.
Thank you. I think it's good for people to
It's going in the right direction, let's say.
There you go.
That was my question, so I appreciate you further explaining that, and thank you for coming today and explaining this. And then you said if people have questions, they can go to your webpage or your
Yes, we'll send these out. These will go out May 1st, and our webpage will be updated. Then we'll give people the opportunity to appeal their values online, by phone. We'll set up a 2-week intake office at the county building in Loveland. So we're going to try to service everybody everywhere, and we'll meet the customer anywhere they are.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate that information, and thank you for being here today, and have a great day. We appreciate you
Thank you as
sharing
well.
that information for the public. All right. And thank to all your staff that worked hard to help with all of that. So now we're going to move on after our guests for our first discussion item, which is going to be the proclamation for the 2026 Mental Health Awareness Month. And that is one of the reasons that I'm wearing my green today. And I'm assuming that's why Director Amy Martonis of our Behavioral Health Services is also wearing green. I'm very excited about this proclamation. It's near and dear to my heart. And so, Amy, I'll let you kind of introduce this, and then we'll take a photo quickly at the end.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners, County Manager Volker, colleagues, community partners in the room. My name is Amy Martonis, and I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Larimer County's Behavioral Health Services Department. I am joined today by our dedicated team and other partners in the room who are committed to the ongoing mission of building a comprehensive system to care for our residents. Thank you for recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month. This proclamation is far more than a document. It is a symbol of the collective work we do in our community to build a stronger and more resilient Larimer County. It is an annual affirmation of our commitment to the voters who in 2018 made the visionary decision to invest in a local behavioral health system. Building a system that works for everyone, from prevention through crisis care, is a deeply collaborative effort. We are proud to do this work alongside the leaders and organizations that are represented here today and those who couldn't be here but are with us in heart. In the room, we have Kim Moeller and Rachel Olson-Tellin from the Alliance for Suicide Prevention, as well as Liz Davis with Poudre School District. Thank you for being here. Prioritizing well-being and mental health is a shared responsibility. I am grateful for the leadership you all provide and for a community that recognizes mental health as a core pillar of health. Thank you for your support of this proclamation and for investing in the long-term well-being of Larimer County residents. Together, we are building hope and changing lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, and I appreciate you being here, and your words really resonated. What we're going to do today is I'm going to have Commissioner Stevens read both the Mental Health Proclamation and the Asian Pacific Islander Desi Heritage Month. And so what we'll do is have you read the proclamation and make the motion, and then if we have any questions or comments, then we'll do that at that time. So if you wouldn't mind, Commissioner Stevens, thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair. So this is the 2026 Mental Health Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas mental health is an essential bedrock of a healthy, productive life, a fundamental component that allows those in Larimer County to live with joy, dignity, and purpose. And whereas mental health challenges do not discriminate based on age, income, or background, affecting nearly 23% of adults and half of all adolescents across the nation. And whereas we acknowledge the thousands of our own neighbors in Larimer County who have navigated poor mental health days or struggled to find the specific care they deserve. And whereas the people of Larimer County demonstrated their profound commitment to behavioral health by approving a dedicated tax in 2018, transforming a community vision into a tangible action. And whereas this investment has successfully funded the construction and 24/7 operation of the acute care facility at the Longview campus, where the Summit Stone Health Partners team provided critical support during over 16,000 urgent care visits between its opening on December 2nd, 2023 and February 28th, 2025. And whereas these voter-approved funds have further empowered 77 unique organizations to expand and enhance essential mental health and substance use programs throughout every corner of Larimer County. And whereas we recognize the path to wellness is still often obstructed by barriers such as the cost of care, transportation, and the lingering stigma that can make seeking help feel out of reach. And whereas we celebrate the declines in suicide and overdose rates within our county over the past years, yet we remember that these numbers represent people whose lives possess immeasurable value. And whereas our vision remains that ours is a community where every person is empowered to access a full spectrum of behavioral health services that promote well-being for all. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month. We call upon our community to celebrate the progress we have made together and to continue building a county where mental health and substance use care is available to all. You want the motion as well? I move to approve the proclamation declaring May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. We'll now move on to questions and see if you have any questions. Anybody have any questions for Amy or any of the folks?
Don't have questions.
I'll first. I have a quick question, and I don't know if Madeline wants to come up. Could you, there's a lot of events happening in May, including a couple of my own, and I'm wondering if you can share really quickly how folks can find out about some of these special events that are, looking to actually help folks do some actions or to maybe think about things, reducing stigma or just some daily things they can learn from.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Behavioral Health Services was excited to put together a calendar of community and national events that are available for residents in Larimer County to participate in as a way to take action around mental health awareness. And so that calendar is linked on our Behavioral Health Services website, and it's also featured in our departmental newsletter that's going out today. If folks would like to access that further, feel welcome to reach out to me by email or our communications coordinator, Madeline, if you have any questions or want additional details about the calendar of events that's posted online.
Thank you for that. So, and I appreciate you sharing all of that. I think that's a really nice addition to help folks find ways to, there's plenty of things going on, but I hope folks will seek and maybe participate. So thank you, Amy. So we'll now, if there's no any other questions, I think I'll let Commissioner Kafalis start with his comments and then you, Commissioner Stevens, and then I'll have a few before we make a vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I hope you'll accept my apology for my tardiness. I was attending to my own mental health by attending the spring concert, school concert at Harris Bilingual, so I'm feeling quite rejuvenated. Just want to express my gratitude to all the folks that are here. The leadership that we have, very grateful for Amy and all the other people from the different institutions. It is pretty amazing how we've developed the partnerships over the years and how those partnerships and relationships have matured and become really, really effective in addressing a very complex issue. I'm glad that we continue to see a decline in people taking their own lives. I think that's really important. I'm grateful for our community justice alternatives folks, and I still have my Acu wellness beads in, continuing to be, I'm hoping to be self-actualized for the remainder of the week. But all that said, again, tremendous partnerships, criminal justice system, acute care, crisis intervention, prevention, all of that. So thank you. Thanks for allowing me to be here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, also extend my gratitude to all of you for the work that you do. We really appreciate it. It's really important, and I think that we are erasing some of the stigma around mental health services, so I'm really grateful for that. I think we've embraced that as a community. The voters, thankful to the voters who passed the bill to allow us to continue to do this work. And, while we have the facility at Longview, a lot of those dollars are also dispersed out in the community so we can meet people where they're at. And that piece is really important as well, and help really different sectors of people with different kinds of needs they need. So as you do this work, it's evolving, right? You're learning from how to do it better, how to get more dollars in the community, where the gaps are. And that's great that we're not staying static in this work. We're really moving forward. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I will just mention just briefly that on Friday, Commissioner Kafalis and I were at the awards ceremony for child welfare staff that we have in the community, and they of course do a really hard job, but they gave an award to Summit Stone, and they're really grateful for the partnership that they have with all of you. So for those folks who don't know, we have youth beds that have opened as well, so we're able to take care of youth in our community, and they were so grateful for that partnership with Human Services, because there are some acute needs in our community. There's some kiddos that really need that extra support and that extra time. And we're able to do that. So there again, an innovation that we didn't know was going to happen, to be able to open a new wing and be able to do that. So just grateful for your work. Thank you for being here. And yeah, we're happy to celebrate the great work that you're doing today.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. First, just, I think we talked about, there were some comments about maturing and evolving. I just really feel, I'm not sure I think we're not matured yet. I think that we're still evolving and innovating. And when I think back, when I worked on this sales tax before I became a commissioner, and we were running around, and all the stories I collected from school districts and older adults and family members and parents, we hoped, we dreamed that we could be where we are today, which seemed like such a moonshot in some ways, but it's not. We're here, and we have so many folks to thank and to celebrate, and for gratitude, and for our dedicated staff and our dedicated partners and our dedicated community who chose to tax themselves. Thank you. And I think that I don't think we're there yet. I think that we have a lot of more work to do. And I'm talking about Larimer County. I know we can talk about Colorado and the whole state of the country. I know a lot of folks are feeling some maybe anxiety or some trepidation about things, but I wanted to just, say there's hope, and the sun does rise the next day, and just to keep going. And someone had said you have to be doing and prioritizing. I think it was Mel Robbins that said, your mental health and your health is everything. Prioritize it. And we're prioritizing it here in Larimer County. And they say, make the time in your life for your health and your mental health, because your life depends on it. And because it does. And I think we're showing that we're prioritizing it here in Larimer County. And I want to just say thank you to all the partners, because it was my big hope and dream that we would have a youth building or youth area, because, I have lost youth to suicide, and very dear and dear to me. And it's something that my life's mission to make sure no one has to go through that pain ever again. But unfortunately, they do. That's why I'm wearing green today. But I think when we think about all the folks in our community and the things they do, I appreciate someone got the award on Friday. I actually was in surgery during that meeting, so I couldn't be there. So I had to prioritize my health. So just so you know, I was prioritizing my health. And I think about sometimes it's just so easy to say thank you, or say you're valued, I care, and it's such an easy, free thing to do. And I think this year's mental health awareness theme was More Good Days Together, and really seeing the person and seeing their journey, and really talk about taking action and not just talking about it. And I think, Amy, you said, that's why I mentioned comments about, thank you for what you said, because you said it wasn't just a bunch of words on a paper. We're trying to actually take some actions and do little daily things that we take care of ourselves. And some of those themes, when it says More Good Days Together, and then I think about NAMI, their theme is together, and it's about together, fighting the stigma together. Providing resources for mental health support for everyone, because we all every single one of us needs that support together. And encourage sharing stories to promote healing. That's why I shared why I wasn't there at that meeting, because I was prioritizing my health, something I had put off for a decade. And it's important that you take care of yourself and take care of your health. And so one of those first days while we're in green is be seen in green. I encourage you all to wear green and share why we're being in green and what's so important. And talk about all the things that have progressed, but things we still need to do together. And I think some of the things that I'm doing this month is the healing power of nature. I've got 2 events. One is May 14th in Estes Park, where we'll be partnering with Rocky and the town of Estes and the mayor, and we'll have Ruth Krug from our behavioral health, a new employee working in workforce, but we're going to talk about social prescribing and getting outside and the importance of the connection to nature and the research that shows that. And also on Sunday, I'll have Becky Jensen, a book author who hiked the Colorado Trail, and she wrote a book about her mental health journey. And we're going to be talking and facilitating a conversation in Loveland downtown at the Love Shack, which is a place that really promotes sober activities and sober dancing and art and community building. And I'm really looking forward to it because it will be a fun morning. And I welcome you all to come. I hope you all come and ask questions. And I think it's really important for us to do not just talk about it. Let's go do something for each other and for ourselves all month. And I think when we think about themes of resilience and breaking a stigma, we also have to foster that community support to our neighbors, to our coworkers, and to our friends and to our family. And really what we need right now is mental health awareness and the needs in our community. They need more sunlight. We need to bring this out and share. We need more candor, more conversations about how we're all in this together and we're all experiencing down days. We all have them. And I think we should not be ashamed in the conversation. Let's talk about it. You talk about getting your tooth fixed or this fixed. Let's talk about these things and share this journey together, because it's together where we know there's hope. And even when your brain tells you there isn't, there is hope and there is sunlight and there is healing and there's togetherness and people care about you. So I hope that you'll take that message back and believe it. And I look forward to all these events next month. And thank you all for being here today. I know, Lorenda, you are not battling a cold, but I'm just going to say I would acknowledge you there, so people don't think I'm not acknowledging you, but I know this means a lot to you as well. And if you want to say 10 seconds, but that's it. I'm going to cut you off at 10 seconds.
Thank you. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my voice. This work is never done, and so bringing attention to it every year is a small thing to do. I love the calendar that you all have put together. I think actions are so important, and I do think we're working to destigmatize this whole discussion around mental health and substance abuse disorder. So thank you for your work. Thank you for the staff and for the very hectic month you're about to have with all of these events.
Thank you, Lorenda. And I know you said you didn't want to speak, and I good job. I won't do it I'm not going to do it for the rest of the morning, so you can save your voice. So with that, again, we're going to take a vote, and then we'll take a picture and join our partners. And so there is a motion on the table. All those in favor of this proclamation, aye.
Aye.
That passes 3-0. We're going to take a moment to pause briefly for those of you online. We'll be back once we take a picture and celebrate with our partners. Thank you. And so now, welcome back. Thank you all for being patient as we took a moment to celebrate our Mental Health Awareness Proclamation. Very excited for that. And now we're moving on to our, and I know we have a couple of people in the room, or we did. There's, I see that. So I will have, I wanted to just talk about that we have our next proclamation, which is our Asian Pacific Islander Desi Heritage Month. And we want to just make more than just words, but make sure we emphasize that Larimer County welcomes community members to participate in the schedule of activities to acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of our Asian Pacific Islander Desi Heritage Month and activities, and celebrate the contribution that that community which is our community, brings to our lives throughout the county, state, and our nation, which is a very strong and important heritage and lots of great contributions. And I have family members who are and nieces and nephews who are Amerasian, and I just wanted to always think about them and their heritage when we talk about this, and we'll be looking and celebrating with some of those folks next week. So I wanted to have Commissioner Stevens read this this proclamation and then also make the motion, because I know this is special to you as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, this is a proclamation for Asian Pacific Islander Desi American Heritage Month. Whereas recognition of Asian Pacific Islander Desi American Heritage Month began in 1977 to support the history and accomplishments of Apita people in the U.S. The Apita population consists of the entire Asian continent, including South Asia as the Desi population, and the Pacific Islands. And whereas the month of May was selected to honor a Japanese immigrant as an initial U.S. citizen on May 7, 1843, and to recognize the anniversary of the finale of the original Transcontinental Railroad on May 10, 1869, primarily built by Chinese immigrants. And whereas the U.S. Census Bureau approximates the Apita population in the United States to be greater than 20 million people, at 6.2% of the population, locally the Apita population in Larimer County consists of more than 7,800, or 2.21% of the total population. And whereas the Apita community has a long history of active participation in Larimer County, including our teachers, doctors, business owners, restaurant workers, artists, colleagues, family, and friends, thus enormously contributing to the health, growth, and well-being of our community. And whereas unequal structural and systemic discrimination exists against Apita people, including violent riots against South and East Asians in 1907, Japanese internment camps during World War II, including Camp Amache in Colorado, with over 7,000 detainees, Desi Americans experiencing more government inspections and monitoring when boarding planes or applying for immigration as of 2001, the persecution of South Asian Americans post 9/11, and an increase in hate crimes against Apita people since the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas the Apita community has risen above cultural obstacles, language barriers, discrimination, and violence, these Americans still experience intensified fear and deprivation. Thus, we ask Larimer County community members to rebuke hate based on race, religion, or ethnicity, and honor the hard work, perseverance, and dynamic culture of the Apita community. We recognize the significance of inclusion and strive to create an amicable and safe climate for all Larimer County residents. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, Colorado, that the month of May 2026 be recognized as Asian American Pacific Islander Desi Heritage Month in Larimer County. And Larimer County welcomes community members to participate in the schedule of activities to acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of Apita residents to our lives throughout our county, state, and nation. And the motion, I move to approve the proclamation declaring May 2026 as Asian Pacific Islander Desi Heritage Month.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. And before we move on to questions and comments, I wanted to just acknowledge this is something that was brought to us from Heart and Soul several years ago when they started doing these events in Loveland. And there is an event coming up here soon. You can go to Heart and Soul of Loveland for more details on that. Celebration is fantastic. Event and presentations every single year, and there's a lot of events, and so I think there's probably a lot to be named and mentioned. But I wanted to also acknowledge that we have someone from our community advisory board who helps us kind of have a different perspective and eyes on some of our proclamations, and I know they're here today to kind of help. Maybe accept this award or this proclamation and let us have a chance to have some folks from that. So I want to just ask Dakota just to come up very briefly, very briefly, just to make just a quick comment and just say, I know there's folks from Heart and Soul on that board and other folks, and if you wouldn't mind, I see you in the audience, and I appreciate you being here today, Dakota, and just maybe very briefly, because we have another proclamation today, and I just wanted to thank you and welcome you today for being here.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you so much for having us here and for the opportunity to speak. As you mentioned, we did have the privilege to review and contribute to the language of this proclamation, and that representation is very important because it ensures that the language and the identities of our community really do reflect the proclamation that we are putting forth. And so, like you said, I'll keep it very brief, but the proclamation, it is a time for reflection, and recognition is meaningful, but it is really only a starting point. And so our responsibility collectively is to continue building a county where inclusion is practiced, where representation is intentional, and where all communities feel seen, heard, and valued, not just this month, but every month. And so thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Dakota, for being here. And I know in a moment we'll have you join us as we will take a photo for the proclamation. So, commissioners, do you have any comments you'd like to make? Commissioner Stevens, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, just really grateful that we have this proclamation and appreciate Dakota and all the folks that helped us with the language and the wording, and really acknowledging the fact that people in our community and people across our country have experienced discrimination, and that we stand against that. We stand against hate and the violence that some people have experienced. And I thank you, Madam Chair, for letting me read this proclamation. Some people may know that two of my children, Sanjay and Nisha, are of Desi or Indian descent, and so this is special to me because I understand that there are special challenges that they and others face as they move about in the world that I, as someone who's more privileged, does not. So I think that I think Dakota's absolutely right. This is not just a proclamation. This is a call for us all to do better and figure out how we welcome people into our community, even amidst a culture that is not necessarily as welcoming as we maybe used to be as a country or as a community. So it really is great for us to acknowledge these important events and dates. And I will say that I did pull up the event that Heart and Soul is having. It's on Saturday, May 16th from 11 to 3 at Loveland Public Library. I will not be able to attend because I get to attend a very big, giant Indian wedding that weekend of my daughters. And so I will be celebrating Desi Heritage Month in our own special family way. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and congratulations to you and your daughter. Also, I think that's also the International Day of Light, so very special day on May 16th. So, Commissioner Falls, did you have any comments you'd like to make, sir?
Yes, just a bit. First of all, wish to echo and amplify the comments made by Commissioner Stevens and Dakota. Also want to reaffirm and further acknowledge the many contributions of the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Board, doing business as the Community Advisory Board. Not only did they contribute to this particular proclamation, but all of the proclamations that we do throughout the year. They help provide some really important lenses, and not just on the proclamations, but certainly helping us to improve upon our policies as they relate to all the various things that the county does and is involved with. So I want to echo that and amplify and reinforce. The proclamation is important to listen to because it acknowledges that our history, we need to look at the complete history to understand where we are and where we're heading. So I'm glad that we mention all of the good things that our history encompasses, but also some of the things that we need to be very mindful of in terms of changing things. Finally, while these proclamations are symbolic in nature, they do demonstrate, I think, what we are, many of us collectively believe in, our values as an organization, as a county organization. So I think it is really important to do this and to communicate those values and those messages out into the community. And I think, as Dakota said, it's not about 1 month or a week, or it's about every day. We need to make sure that folks feel included and they're part of this community and welcomed and feel that they have belonging here. Thank you.
First, thank you, Dakota, and thank you to Heart and Soul, because they really did bring this proclamation originally to us, our first ever, and they started those events. I know there's other events, but it was really something that I hadn't seen in Loveland or parts of the county before, so I was really excited to be a part of that, and I'm glad they're continuing to do that. I mentioned I have family members who are from Southeast Asia, and they're here working very hard, and one of them is fighting cancer right now. So just to give out a shout out to them, that they find strength in the imperfections of their life, but I know they're strong and they have such a strong family, and their family is everything to them, and they're helping them fight through this. And also, we have good friends who they're a young child in middle school in Larimer County was actually receiving a physical hate crime attack for their being of the PETA heritage, and that was about 2 or 3 years ago. But that young middle schooler wrote about it for the MLK event a few years ago and spoke her truth, and I thought that was pretty courageous of her to share. And so I wanted to just share everybody, as you read these proclamations, it may not seem that it's something that is happening here or something that it's not happening to us, but it is, and it's here in our communities. And I think it's important as we talk about the injuries or the harm that was done, that we continue and never forget to talk about how important it is to focus on this month and take that moment, because it's not just words on the paper, and that's why we do these proclamations. It's not just to check a box, but because it is expressing a value of inclusion and that everyone matters and everyone is welcomed here and everyone is part of our community. And I think about one of the things I think about the PETA communities is something I've always marveled at, and something that I find a lot of connections, even in the Dene community, that there is beauty in imperfection. It's something that I, as I try to create a tile work as I learned how to tile a kind of a native indigenous tile work, looks like a Native American rug or a Dene rug, but I was told that you always put an imperfection. One of those tiles has to be wrong, so you can't have perfection. That would be, pushing the universe to say you think you're perfect, which I would never try to say I'm ever perfect. But I think that when I think about PETA communities, that's also that connection about how they have always have found long found ways to reconstruct fractures in the community, or fractures in their history, into sources of strength. And that brokenness is not an endpoint, but rather it can be the beginning of healing. And I think about that form of artwork where they bring pieces that are broken and forge it with gold and create something even more new and beautiful. And it's just that practice. And I don't even want to try to pronounce it because I probably won't say it right, but it's that philosophy of highlighting repairs and that we all have some kind of brokenness or something within us in our community, and emphasizing that imperfections in our communities or in ourselves can increase our value and our beauty, because we look to repair those, and how we can transform things that are maybe imperfect or maybe have some damaged items into unique and stronger, even more valuable pieces as we forge and look to become better and always transform and try to. Every day I'm looking to see how I can be as a better human. So I think that's important, kind of also with the mental health connection, is just that kind of interlink about that, is always looking to look for the beauty in the day and moving forward, and that we all have imperfections and we can always work to make ourselves even stronger and better than we were yesterday. So I just wanted to share that. I find that kind of somewhat soothing, and looking for pieces of art like that, and really investigate how they put that art all together. So with that, we have a proclamation on the floor. I'm not going to ask Lorenda to speak again because we want her to be able to speak later today. And then we'll take a pause for a picture. So you made the motion, Commissioner Stevens, right? And so now there's a motion on the table. So all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It passes 3-0. We're going to pause very briefly for a quick photo. Thank you. Oh, welcome back. Thank you all for joining us and being patient. We have one more proclamation today. We just celebrated the May 2026 as Asian Pacific Islander Desi Heritage Month, and now we have another really fantastic proclamation for May 4th through May 9th for Economic Development Week, which is something we are very proud of here in Larimer County. And I'm guessing Amanda is coming up to present, who's coming to talk and present about this. Just looking for who's coming up. I have a name here, but we would like to hear about the importance of this declaring this Economic Development Week, and any other amazing things you want to share about Larimer County. I feel like it's still very much leading the way in a lot of ways with economic development. So thanks for being here, and thanks for the whole team for being here.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners and county manager, partners and colleagues. Thank you for taking this time to recognize and celebrate Economic Development Week. It's National Economic Development Week. We're a little bit in advance of the week, so we're setting it up for the week. National Economic Development Week was established by the IEDC, the International Economic Development Council, in 2016 to raise awareness of the programs, the partnerships and services and job creation, support of businesses, how we diversify our economy and enhance the quality of life in our communities. Again, we talk about this all the time. It's a team sport. It's a long game. It takes a lot of partners to make economic vitality and development happen across a region, in a county, and across cities. So this year's celebration actually has significance special significance for Larimer County in northern Colorado as it coincides with the IEDC's centennial year. So this year is guided by the theme of 100 years of impact. It also, interestingly, aligns with Small Business Development Week. Our small businesses are important to recognize and recognize those entrepreneurs and small businesses that are the backbone of our local and regional economy. In addition, we recognize another milestone of this year, so many milestones, for the Economic Development Council of Colorado, which is celebrating 50 years of advancing economic development across the state. So as you may remember, and I'll ask you how you want to do this, if you'd like to read the proclamation, I have some guests with me that I'd like to have come up and speak. Last year, you may remember that we featured the city of Fort Collins. We had Tim Seitz, who was then the GM of Anheuser-Busch, and who received Anheuser-Busch, you approved a business personal property tax rebate for Anheuser-Busch investment in Fort Collins. We also had Tyler Manzales, the Senior Manager of Economic Sustainability for the City of Fort Collins, Economic Health Office, that was a mouthful, and Jody Stenger, who was with Fiberlock Technologies, Inc. This year, we wanted to focus on our partnerships and collaboration and the phenomenal work that the City of Loveland partners are doing. And we've brought in 3 guests, actually 4. Lindsay joined. We have Ken Raymond, who is the owner and founder of Better Processes, LLC. And we have Allison Seebeck, who is the executive director of the Warehouse Business Accelerator, and who is also representing the partners of the Forge campus. Jay Doctor wanted to be here, but he was not able to do that. And we have Allison Bowling, City of Loveland Business Attraction Manager, and Lindsay Servin, City of Loveland Business Retention and Expansion Manager with us today. So thank you again, and I'll let them.
Let's go ahead and invite our guests, since you brought so many guests, and have them come up and speak, and then we'll do the proclamation and motion then, and they can. And why don't you all stay up at the podium once you speak, and we'll read the proclamation, then we'll do a vote, so you don't have to do lots of steps today. So
okay,
thank you.
Good morning, and thank you to the Board of Commissioners for recognizing Economic Development Week. Also want to thank Larimer County Economic Workforce Development for their partnership and their support. At Better Process, we're a growing manufacturing automation company, so we're very small but growing here in northern Colorado. And we work with manufacturers to design and implement solutions that help them improve their production, improve their quality and efficiency. After working at Woodward for 16 years, I left to start this business and learned a lot about internships at Woodward. As our company has grown, we've seen firsthand how valuable the public-private partnership and how strong that is in Larimer County. Support from Larimer County Economic Workforce Development has been real and very practical for our business. It's helped us make connections, think more strategically about workforce development, and continue to build a company that can grow the right way. One thing that has really helped drive our growth and is our staffing and development model. It's somewhat unique. We put a lot of focus on giving people opportunities to grow into technical and engineering roles. We believe in developing talent, not just filling positions. And that approach has made a big difference for us. Internships have been a very important part of that. They help us bring in emerging talent, give students real-world experience, and create a stronger pipeline into manufacturing and in engineering careers. So just to kind of put a point on it, out of the 11 employees at Better Process, 7 of them have come through internships. Okay. Our involvement with the education system from early exposure in high school all the way through higher education has been valuable because it helps us connect students to real opportunities in the region. So a quick story of one of our current full-time members who came through as an internship through Larimer County. He graduated during the pandemic, and as many people struggled after and during the pandemic to reach positions, and being somewhat as the engineers are somewhat reclusive and somewhat shy, he definitely had a strong case of that with him. He's come and was an intern through Larimer County at our business, and we hired him afterwards, and has turned into one of our star performers, really, and fantastic engineer. I'd also like to specifically thank Sandra Jackham for her support with the around workforce. She is tireless on working with manufacturing companies. The partnership has been very meaningful to us and is a good example of the collaboration that helps business succeed. We're grateful to be part of a community that understands that economic development is really about people, about partnerships, and creating growth opportunities for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Allison.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Manager. Thank you so much for this proclamation, and also thank you for your tireless support of innovation and economic health for the community where I live and where my children are growing up. As you know, I'm usually in the community talking about the Warehouse Business Accelerator, our nonprofit incubator for early stage companies. But today, I'm also representing the broader Forge campus team. Jay is prioritizing his health this morning as well. I want to highlight the Forge campus as a clear example of the development work and the collaborative regional partnerships that this proclamation celebrates. Forge campus has a strong concentration in advanced industries, aerospace, robotics, energy technologies, and manufacturing. We're home to Larimer County's own homegrown companies like Atmos Zero, which got its start at CSU in the Powerhouse and is now occupying space at the Forge campus and also implementing some of their first products at New Belgium. We're also home to collaborative business attraction plays like Multicut, if you heard the recent announcement at Colorado Springs Aerospace Week. They're coming from Denmark and they're locating here in Larimer County. These companies are not only growing on campus, they're also investing here and they're hiring here and they're anchoring high value jobs in our community. As entrepreneurs, we don't often take a minute to recognize how far we've come. And so in that spirit, I want to thank you each for having visited the Forge campus over the last 5 years since we had this dream in our minds of what that abandoned property could become. But I would invite you to come back and see that vision as a reality. Today, we have nearly 55 companies on campus, 85% occupancy of the 811,000 square feet of industrial space. And those 55 companies employ over 1,000 people today. So what was an empty parking lot when I moved to Loveland is now a full and overflowing parking lot some days. We've roughly estimated that the Forge campus ecosystem in the 5 years in that growth trajectory has already provided between $40 and $80 million in tax revenue to various institutions around Colorado, including Larimer County, and collectively between 130 and 200 million in total regional economic impact. And we're not full yet, and we're still growing. The Forge Campus team and myself at the warehouse are very grateful for our ongoing partnership with the Larimer County Economic and Workforce Development team and our partners around the community. Through business attraction, site selection, and expansion and retention, we're constantly in contact with our economic development partners in the public sector. They help us, private sector folks, understand the complicated nuances of things like enterprise zone tax credits and other incentives available. We also collaborate with partners around the community on the manufacturing sector partnership, on bringing events and awareness to the Forge Campus project and the impact that it's having in our region. The Workforce Board visited us in the last couple of months, and we have had so many different manufacturing sector partnership events on campus. Economic Development Week is about outcomes. Jobs created, companies grown, stronger local economies. Forge Campus is proud to contribute to those outcomes and to partner with Larimer County in building innovative, competitive, and resilient regional economy for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison.
Hi there. Good morning, County Commissioners, County Manager. My name is the other Allison Bowling. We do this a lot. So I'm the other Allison Bowling with the City of Loveland. I'm the Business Attraction Manager. And with me today is Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Servine. I am the Business Retention and Expansion Manager. Good morning.
Thank you for having me here today, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this proclamation today and to be standing up here with such great individuals and wonderful partners in this economic development space. One project I really wanted to highlight today is the recent attraction win, which Allison Seebeck mentioned. We are happy and very pleased to announce the relocation decision of Denmark-based company Multicut. They are continuing to grow our aerospace and defense industry, as well as bringing precision manufacturing back to the city of Loveland. They will be creating 82 jobs in the city of Loveland over the next 5 years, and they bring with them significant capital investment from an international location. So we are thrilled to have them with us in the city of Loveland, and we will continue to work on our attraction efforts collaboratively. We have worked over the last year and years past to significantly improve our attraction process, making the process more efficient, more thorough, and providing better information to those site selectors and individuals who are looking to relocate in northern Colorado to make sure we're meeting their needs with physical space, with workforce development programs, and with different partnerships we have in the community. So we're thrilled to continue our attraction efforts. In partnership with Larimer County, Multicut participated in the Enterprise Zone program. So we're happy to have them as a recent participant in that program. And we're also really excited to talk about the continued growth of that program. In 2025, we went through an Enterprise Zone redesignation opportunity where we looked at the different enterprise zones and make sure that they were sufficient and adequate to the needs of what the program parameters were. And we are also very happy to report that as of last year, we had 33 program participants in the city of Loveland, and this year, as of the end of Q1, we have over 100 companies pre-certified for participation in that program. We've worked very diligently with our partners on a proactive marketing campaign that included a variety of lunch and learns and information that were shared with our businesses to make sure that they're aware of the programs and resources that are available in our community. Finally, I wanted to highlight all of the work that we continue to do as a cornerstone of our community in business retention and expansion. Lindsay is certainly a big part of that. All of our partners here at Larimer County and the Forge continue to make sure that our existing businesses in Loveland have the resources that they need to continue to grow their workforce, to make sure they have a qualified talent pipeline, and that they're continuing to develop and match the needs of the company, and that they're prepared for their growth planning in the future. It's very important that we continue this work, that we continue to build and expand on the businesses that are in our community. They are certainly the bread and butter of our community. So thank you for having me here today and for giving us this forum to recognize all the hard work of this team here. And thank you again.
Thank you very much and appreciate all those details. And Mr. Raymond, it's great to see you and see how things are expanding. I'm very excited to see and hear all about that. First, I had a couple of questions, but first I'll see if either commissioner had a question for either of the guests or anyone. Commissioner Kofalis?
Thank you. I don't necessarily have questions, but at the appropriate time, I'd like to offer a few comments.
Of course, that was to be expected. Commissioner Stevens, do you have any? Okay, I just had a couple of questions. And maybe it's from Allison. And congratulations, by the way. This is two companies. I remember when you had me come speak to the Scotland company. Yeah. And, I have a child who's doing his PhD in the Netherlands, so I asked him to look into that company, so it was very exciting. I am curious. We attended some events a couple of years ago at the Forge, and you had a lot of speeches, and I was thinking it was about this enterprise zone and some of the work that you were doing. Am I remembering that correctly? That was talking about this expansion, the partnerships, and what was hoping that would be happening at that campus?
Yes. So we started the work on campus at the very end of 2020 and through 2021 really put together the plan and visioning. And in 2021 and 2022, we invited, I think even Governor Hickenlooper came through and each of you were welcomed as well. I know we took a tour of what was an empty building at the time. And then we also had some formal events bringing partners who were engaged in the work that we were doing. At that point, I asked people to envision a time when there would be forklifts running up and down the aisles and a moment when there would be interns and employees filling the parking lot and the sound of manufacturing, robots running and machining happening on CNC machines. And I'm just so happy to say that has in fact come to reality.
And I wanted to make sure, because I remember that now, and also it was the Creative District we were celebrating as well, which has kind of got that connection because it's an overlap as well, if I remember right. And I think that's very important as well, because that was a very important hard designation to get. So congratulations at all. And I think also I wanted to bring that up because I think it highlights the perseverance and the work, just like any small business development week. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of focus, a lot of perseverance, because there are ups and downs and 2 steps up, 1 step back. But obviously, this partnership and this collaboration is fantastic, and really working on looking at the long game. And I still can't believe there's 55 companies there now. That's amazing. So that was my question: is my brain working right today that I remember all those speeches and what the talk you were talking about? And I just commend you for all of you working together and really strengthening that. It's really a testament to a committed group of people wanting to do good for all, and here you go. So we'll go ahead and go with comments. I'll make my comments here in a minute, but thank you for making sure my recollection was somewhat accurate. Commissioner Stevens, would you like to start with any comments?
I would. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Janine, and bringing all these great folks together today. I think this is, you and Mark and the whole team. I think that we heard from a lot of different sectors around, the importance of internships and retention of businesses and attraction of businesses, right? I mean, I think that these are all kind of key components in how we stay successful as a community. So I'm really grateful to hear those stories. It was really, really great to hear from Ken and how great that internship program is working for you. And we just appreciate the businesses who are taking that opportunity to use the services that we provide in Larimer County, but also to really take a chance on some of these young people who may not have the skills initially that we need, but we know that we can develop those and work with them. So Ken, good work on, getting young people up to speed and creating these job opportunities for young people who, don't necessarily always know where, have that guidance or know what kind of jobs that they could take. And so I think that piece is really important. But of course, the attraction, the retention, the expansion of businesses in our community are all good for our economic health. And Ken said it really well. This is about people, right? I mean, ultimately, this is about people. I mean, this is the businesses, yes, they help with our tax base. Certainly, we can provide the services we can and the good services we provide in Larimer County because of that. But it's also about helping people find their way, a job that's fulfilling to them, that pays the bills, that helps them create wealth in their families. And so, I love that we're centered on people, that the work that we're doing is, helping young entrepreneurs like find their passion and their vision, and that, that all this work is so really important. So I'm really grateful for the variety of folks that came to speak today. The two Allisons, Lindsay, you're all doing really great work in the community. We're really grateful for, and we're glad we could showcase the work that you're doing. And hopefully other businesses and folks will be listening. People who are looking for jobs will be listening, and know that, that our Economic and Workforce Development Center can help with in all these spaces, and that they're here ready to help. And so, yeah, thank you. This is really something great to celebrate. And so, and as far as taking tours, I'm happy to take the tours of whoever wants to take me on a tour. So I'll definitely come back, for sure, Allison and Ken, if see what you're up to in your space too. And congratulations for the good work that you're all doing.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Kafalis.
Thank you. Let's see. What can I add to the conversation, or perhaps emphasize? I appreciate all of you being here. We hear time and time again the importance, value of partnerships, taking a regional approach to economic and workforce development. I certainly want to do a major shout out to our Larimer County Economic and Workforce Development Department, the variety of services on the workforce side, and certainly on the business development side. I appreciate the comments made about, certainly we want to attract big companies, major companies like the one that you all referenced. I guess it's called, I wrote it down.
Multi-cut.
Multi-cut. And it was interesting to learn more about that. It was very interesting to learn more about better processes, your company and your experience with, I think you were at Woodward for a number of years. And it's great that we were able to take that Hewlett-Packard space and create what you all have created down there. And I guess some themes that I'll just point out that have already kind of been stated. And one, of course, is the idea of public-private partnerships. And in this case, it's great that we're able to work well with the city of Loveland and certainly all of the entrepreneurs in the private sector folks. I think that's really important. The talent pipeline, and my goodness, it's been incredibly successful. 11 employees, perhaps 7 of those came through the talent pipeline, if I heard correctly, and the value of internships. There was a time when I had less gray hairs that I actually worked for the 1980s iteration of the Economic and Workforce Development Department. It was Employment and Training Services back there. And we had something called the Job Training Partnership Act, JTPA. And one of the things that we tried to emphasize, although the resources weren't necessarily in place, was OJTs, or on-the-job training. So I think we're coming back to that, and certainly paid internships when we can are a critical part of that. The economic impact, it's pretty darn amazing, the trajectory of the Forge campus, and it is a pretty cool place to visit. And I think I remember when Governor Hickenlooper was there, I think we had the electric trucks there, and he got a big thrill out of driving around in the electric truck. But the economic impact is a big deal, is really important. Interestingly, your 5-year trajectory started at a time that it probably wasn't very easy to start something creative and comprehensive and holistic. I think you mentioned the year 2020, and we know what happened in 2020 and how challenging that was for businesses, and I'm glad we were able to provide some support. So a lot of great things. I guess I could go on and on, but I'm glad that we do a lot of good work, regional work, to attract businesses like the one that was mentioned and others. I'm also glad that we do what in the old days used to be called, economic gardening, where, identifying the already established smaller businesses perhaps, or larger ones, mid-size, and supporting them, nurturing them so they can grow, they can expand, they can hire more folks, and in the end, people spend their money here, they save their money here, they send their kids to school here, and I guess the last thing I'll mention is, sorry that if I've carried on here a bit, but I do appreciate the work. Two things I'll mention. One is the Workforce Development Board, and whenever I'm able to go to the meetings, I always learn a lot, and I appreciate Janine and Mark and others helping to facilitate a lot of good presentations, a lot of good discussion. Certainly, shout out to Ms. Kelsey over there, and how I feel welcome in that that space to listen and perhaps contribute where it makes sense to contribute. And I guess the the final thing that I'll say is, this is an evolving process, and the work is never done. So I'm sure we'll continue to be creative, with an eye towards sustainability in all the manifestations of sustainability. And I think I've probably talked too much. So there was something else, but I forgot what I was going to say. I just appreciate you all very much and the collaboration. It's very important, very visible, makes a difference for folks. Oh, I know the issue of how we have focused on, what are the barriers to engaging meaningfully in the workforce. Surprise, surprise, cost of childcare. Surprise, surprise, the cost of housing. Surprise, surprise, transportation costs are going up. And if people can't buy a house closer to where they work, then they buy a house somewhere else, then they drive more on the roads. And then we don't have the money necessarily to fix the potholes. So it's all connected. Thank you all very much for listening.
First, I just want to thank you all for being here. Mark, I want to make sure we recognize you. You're going to have to be in the picture, all of you being in the picture. You're not getting a free pass on that. But it takes a leader and a visionary to kind of help guide this amazing team. And Janine, I see you in so many places and I appreciate your work and your just diligence and the energy you bring. And obviously everyone's smiling and still standing, so I appreciate that. I just want to, Ken, I've known you a long time, and you all have always been about youth and getting those internships. And it's not just now, but I'm not surprised that you value that in what you're developing and building, because you and your wonderful family have always focused on youth and providing opportunities. So thank you for your almost 2 decades or more. Seriously, I think so, of passion and work in that space. And I wanted to give you a shout out, and Liz as well, because you guys do give a lot of your hearts and time and talents to that. And I'm glad to see you here today and see that you're still focusing and working on that. It's very important. And I think especially for our youth today, to see that there is opportunities that we never dreamed or imagined. And who would have thought we'd have a Multi-Cup, which is an aerospace company, coming in from international, and the Scotland company. I mean, talking to those folks and just talking about this amazing place, and there's a lot of youth, a lot of unsown, unrealized talent everywhere around us, that with just a little nudge or encouragement, even if they're not students or maybe in the workforce and want to do something different. I take it of note, when I was with the Forest Health Council when we were Front Range Community College, the kids were up, or they're not kids, there were a lot of younger generation folks, and some are somewhat older as me, and they're learning to forest and climb trees, and one of them had been a beautician for 15 years. And now is becoming a forester, changed completely her trajectory. But it was, I think they mentioned some of the work that they had seen through you in Front Range and this internship that they had. And now they found this passion that they never knew they had in a job. They just find a lot of purpose and satisfaction. So I just think at anyone, and all this economic and economic development week, this is really focused on the individuals as well as, kind of forging that path for that's people focused in its efforts, because if you're not people focused, even all the best business plans don't work, right? They have to have that passion and that purpose, and it's of course it's about creating jobs, but meaningful jobs, and folks people want to show up and be at, and advancing careers, as I mentioned, and it improves quality of life for our community overall. And we talked about the tax base and stuff. That's important. It funds vital services. but also we want to have this resilient, stronger local programs and community. And investing in workforce development and education and talent retention is really, for the region as well as the area, just really important for everyone to thrive in this community. And obviously, 55 companies again is pretty amazing. And I know there's things to celebrate in all of our special, municipalities and towns. And Estes is doing some of this. Wellington is looking to expand birth. I mean, there is just so much to celebrate and look at. And I know you all work together to foster this career development as a region, and I think it's really remarkable. Lindsay and Allison, thanks for being here. It's great to see you and meet you in person, and appreciate your passion and what you're doing and bringing to that partnership. It is important, and there is a lot of work to do and a lot of opportunities. And of course, Allison. I said Allison and Lindsay, right? Just to make sure. Okay. I'm still trying to get my brain back on. And Allison, just you've been around doing this work for a long time. I think I saw your hubby last night. I think he said, I wasn't sure. I was like walking past you, but I was looking for my lost glasses as I was going in and out of the air quality presentation. I'm like, I think that's Dave. I think, but tell him I'm sorry. I was focused on finding my glasses, which I put down somewhere. But I just wanted to say, your energy and your passion is just really a lot of the secret sauce. All of you are the secret sauce. Mark, you're the secret sauce. Lindsay, everyone, Kelsey, everyone, you're secret sauce. But it's not only about jobs. It's about, this is kind of that driver and that connector for the community. And it's also related to all the things we just shared about mental health. This is directly connected to that. And it's also connected to the last one for the Pacific Islander, Asian Pacific Islander and heritage, because we want to make sure everyone knows they're welcome and they're part of this community. And we have international companies coming now. That this is a community that welcomes you. You are valued and you're welcome here. And I think that's really important. And I kind of took that theme today, that these are all somewhat interconnected. And I wanted to just kind of draw kind of a line around all of them, because I do think we can't have one without the other. And so it's really important. So I really appreciate you being here today, and the whole team. Well done. Fantastic. And I'm just really glad that we're celebrating that today, why it matters, and how this, along with regional collaboration, is how we're moving forward as a localized strategy, but also a regional strategy. And I just want to commend you all for your tireless work in that area. So with that being said, we're going to read the proclamation now and take a vote, and you're all going to be in the picture. And so just want to highlight that. So, and then we're going to take a vote on that, and then we'll stop and take the picture. So Commissioner Kafas, would you please read that motion? Read the proclamation and make that motion, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I believe I can multitask as long as it's sequential. So, Proclamation, Economic Development Week 2026, May 4th through the 9th. Whereas economic development professionals across Larimer County and northern Colorado committed to creating, retaining, and expanding opportunities that support long-term inclusive economic growth with a focus on quality jobs, upward mobility, resilient economies, and economic opportunity for residents. And whereas for over a century, the economic development profession, through organizations like IEDC, that acronym was explained earlier, has helped communities across the United States cultivate thriving economies, strengthen resilience, support innovation, and enhance quality of life. And whereas for 50 years, the Economic Development Council of Colorado has played a critical role in strengthening Colorado's economy through leadership, collaboration, and professional development across the state. And whereas Economic Development Week also coincides with National Small Business Week, recognizing the essential contributions of small businesses and entrepreneurs in creating jobs, fostering innovation, and enhancing the unique character and sense of place across Larimer County's communities. And whereas economic development in northern Colorado is driven by strong regional collaboration, including partnerships across municipalities, the NOCO Regional Economic Development Initiative, READY, chambers of commerce, educational institutions such as Colorado State University and Front Range Community College. Certainly, Ames Community College is in the mix. Workforce partners and the private sector. And whereas we as economic development professionals in Larimer County serve as connectors and catalysts, bringing together business, workforce, education, and government to support job creation, business growth, infrastructure investment, and a strong talent pipeline through initiatives. And whereas Larimer County's economic development efforts contribute to a broader interconnected northern Colorado economy, positioning the region for continued growth, resilience, and long-term competitiveness within Colorado. Now, hooray, therefore, be it resolved that Larimer County hereby recognizes Economic Development Week and celebrates both 100 years of impact of the economic development profession and 50 years of leadership by the Economic Development Council of Colorado, honoring the partnership's people and progress that continues to shape a strong and vibrant Larimer County economy and inspiring continued collaboration and opportunity in the years ahead. Shall I read the motion? I move to approve the proclamation declaring May 4th through the 9th, 2026 as Economic Development Week.
Thank you for that motion. Any further discussion? Lorinda, I'm just going to skip you so you'd have your voice for later today. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That passes 3-0. We're going to take a brief moment to take a picture with the proclamation. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for your patience as we celebrated our proclamation for Economic Development Week, which is May 4th through the 9th, a very important week and a very important partnerships we celebrated today. We're going to move on now for the rest of our agenda, which I'm going to ask Lorinda to go ahead and I know you want to have a brief county manager update, but do what you feel is okay with your voice. So,
Thank you very much. I will keep it short. I just want to extend appreciation to Wellington Town Manager Patty Garcia. We had our regular meeting last week, and it's always informative to hear what the towns inside the county are doing and what they need and how we might collaborate with them. And another thank you to Clerk and Recorder Tina Harris. She and I meet every month as well. Those are wonderful meetings about internal coordination, understanding what is facing her department and her staff, and how we might support that. So thank you to those two folks, and I will keep it at that.
Thank you. So now we'll move on to, unless there's questions for Lorinda, we'll move on to Commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Kafalis.
I will yield my time to my fellow commissioners.
Commissioner Stevens, did you have any activity reports you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'll just share a few things briefly. Last week, hopefully it was our last week working on the Human Services reorganization at the Capitol. I just want to thank all the people that helped with that, including our staff, Heather, and our legal staff that really helped make this bill better and workable for counties. So we should have a draft bill out soon for folks to look at and respond to, but we are having to reorganize human services because of the HR1 requirements. Wanted to say that we hosted the Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise last week. They came up to see our bus rapid transit, since we're the only ones who have bus rapid transit in the state, but other parts of the state are working on bus rapid transit or contemplating it. And then that NAPME board is looking at financing for future bus rapid transit programs. So I think everybody enjoyed being in Larimer County. We had a great visit. The city of Fort Collins was really helpful about talking to us about the history and the funding and the infrastructure needs for making bus rapid transit a reality. So we had a nice ride on the MAX, and we actually saw where the future Front Range Passenger Rail Station will be. It'll be near Drake, near the Drake Station, where the bus rapid transit MAX line has a station already. I did get to speak to a social work 400 class, which was really interesting. To talk about some of the things that we're working on in the county, some of the things that they have concerns about. Definitely heard a lot of concerns about affordable housing. Young people are kind of not only contemplating what their job will be, but whether they can afford housing in our community once they get a job. So I really talked about some of the efforts we're working on in that space. And then just wanted to shout out to our child welfare staff. On Friday, we had an awards ceremony. I didn't get to stay for the whole thing, but Commissioner Kafalis was there. And as was the county manager and assistant county manager, and it's just really great to acknowledge that people are doing such hard work in our community, taking care of kids, making sure children are safe in our community. And so it's great for them to come together and have fun and celebrate each other and the work, the very, very important work that they do. I know I attended the warrant clearance event. I believe Commissioner Kafalis attended that as well. That was great. It was in Loveland Police and Courts, and there were a lot of great nonprofits there. We got to see the DA's office there, the public defenders, the different courtrooms, but people were able to make sure that they could take care of their business and go on with their lives. And so a lot of people have this hanging over their heads. And so they were really grateful for that opportunity. I really wanted to thank the peer volunteers that were outside, really encouraging people to come in, because this can be an intimidating process. And so they were very welcoming as you walked in the door. Hey, you're not going to get in trouble here. This is to help you out. And I thought that was such a really nice touch to have those peer people who had been through, the criminal justice system, who understood the value of, getting your warrants cleared and your fines paid and moving on with your life. So And then finally, just all three of us were in attendance at the Nueva Vida infrastructure celebration. Nueva Vida received some dollars from the state to be able to take care of some really important infrastructure needs in the mobile home park. They had water issues, they had sewer issues, stormwater issues, really big quality of life issues that would affect the 60 plus residences that are in that mobile home park. And so with the help of DOLA and Department of Housing, and the county was acknowledged as well, they were able to get some of those needs met, and the new parking and new asphalt, and it not only looks good, they have something sound underneath them to count on into the future. So a great celebration. Thank you to Commissioner Kavalis for speaking at that event and really talking about the value of that partnership. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Important work. So I will start back on Tuesday. I had a great meeting talking with Harvest Farms and the Rescue Mission about data collection and the importance of data, not just looking at objectives, but actually outcomes. And that was a really powerful, important meeting. I would appreciate their time and answering all my questions. And then I drove up with staff who are here in the room. I want to thank Dalen and Megan and Leslie Ellis as we drove up to Livermore to have a community meeting, and it was well attended, and we had some great questions, and I think overall was well received. And I appreciate staff being up there to ask more technical questions and just to share that we all have the same values and we're all community. So it was well attended, and I appreciate everyone being up there and also in attendance. I celebrated Earth Day on the 22nd. Well, first I'll go back. We had the North Fort Collins Business Association meeting, which is growing and changing, and lots of information as they shared more about the Urban Renewal Authority's idea for having an outdoor 15-minute space and having a farmer's market there, and the partnership that's going forward. And it was exciting to get some updates on that and around for some other things that the North Fort Collins Business Association is partnering and getting very active in. And I wanted to give them a shout out for looking for opportunities to partner and to help everyone come together in collaboration, and I really value that. And then I drove up to Estes Park, where we had a town hall with Mayor Hall as we were at the Estes Park Memorial Observatory, and we did a town hall about dark skies and the importance of dark skies in the work that visits Estes Park and what we're looking to explore and partnering with as a county and as the town. And it was well attended. It was a full room. We had over 40 people there. It was great to have that engagement from the community. And then they did open some of the telescopes up top that we could go up and look at some of the sunspots that day. Even though it was bright part of the day, there's some things to see. And so you haven't been up to that Memorial Observatory, just like the one in Berthoud, I would look for some opportunities to explore and visit that, because it's quite the partnership. And then we had a technical meeting between the town staff and the county staff with Dark Sky Colorado, and just to listen and understand some of the technical things, which actually I think everyone was very surprised at the flexibility and partnerships, and the gentleman from Dark Sky Colorado was fantastic and very engaging, and Colorado leads the way with having more dark sky communities than I think any other state at this point. I think there's 36 that have been approved and 40 in the pipeline. And so I just wanted to highlight that it's something that a lot of folks are doing, and it's something to really celebrate. It has a connection to mental health and everyone's well-being and health. It has links to sleep disorders and diabetes and obesity, but also it's important for our wildlife. Right now, the last few days, I'm not sure if it's still continuing, but over the weekend and the beginning of last week was there's 2 Super Bowls of bird migration, that birds migrate at night, and millions of birds are migrating at night last week and over the weekend. So all connected with Earth Day, and just wanted folks to understand how important it is to shut off your lights, especially during the Super Bowl of all bird migrations. It's also in October, September, but also in April. And you can go on to some amazing apps. I won't name them all, and you can watch the migration. It's pretty fascinating. and then drove to the Medical Center of the Rockies Tower ribbon cutting ceremony. It's for the Pavilion 1 tower, which is desperately needed, and today is the day they start accepting patients. There is after McKee and other folks have dissolved or gone away, we have a dire need for extra bed space and more emergency room space. And the emergency room had been expanded and some construction, and it was great to tour the trauma ICU and surgical unit, and it was a lot of AI technology inside, and a lot of partners and a lot of things to celebrate. But it needed to be open today, and it's I just want to commend them for doing everything they could to get this forward and get done, because those beds were desperately needed and more room in the emergency room. I can't emphasize that enough. And so that was fun to get to see, and probably not get to see something like that again, especially with the way the trauma surgical ICU rooms were designed. And I just want to give out a shout to Kevin Unger and the ICU folks and all the people that worked so hard to get that moving forward. And then we had our CCAP policy meeting for natural resources and wildfire. We're getting near the end of the legislative session, but there's still a lot of work and pending things that are very interesting, and I'm not so sure how this is all going to end. There's some big bills, as Commissioner Stevenson mentioned, along with data centers, and we're just trying to keep an eye on all the moving parts as we go forward, and these meetings are really important to attend and listen. And then we had our Regional Opioid Abatement Council. We have quite a few new folks that are coming, or people that are filling in for other folks, but we did start looking at some of these grant amounts we've had to decrease, because now we're starting to see the decrease in the amounts from the opioid abatement settlement. So our total amount is going to be decreasing, and hopefully folks understand we're doing the best we can with the resources we have, and we're trying to do the most good to serve the entire community. And so lots of work there. And our Natural Resources Advisory Committee meeting was last week, and a lot of great reports about the Rangers and the CESO Ranger program and all the work and the training, just the hours and hours of training and the work and the contacts, and all the contacts that they have really are very much for education and trying to have a positive interaction and focus on the visitor experience, but also for safety. And so when you think of all those stats and how many contacts they have, that really results in very few tickets or things that are done in the name of people. The Rangers work so hard to educate and to reach out, and mostly for public safety. And I just want to commend both of those Rangers for the really great presentation, and it was wonderful numbers and a great program. And I think so highly of that whole program, and Captain Fleming and Dalen Megan, thank you for all the work that you do to support that program, because they save lives every year. And we did highlight one of those folks. We had some tragedies, but there was a highlight of a life that was saved. And I want to just bring that up again, because that was quite a remarkable rescue. And then, I appreciate that we had a chance to celebrate and make sure our folks in our human services just feel so valued, and how much important the work is that they do. And we take a moment to celebrate and make them feel how special they are, because they are very special. And I want to just thank Heather and all the folks that plan that, because it is carefully planned to highlight a lot of different things, and really great to be able to celebrate that. And then Nueva Vida, it's great to have that partnership. We've been partnering with them, our American Rescue Plan dollars, to help invest, to help them buy the ground underneath their feet, and they continue to do work. And I'm so grateful that they were so diligent and persevered through the Prop 123 funds they got to do that infrastructure improvement, because everyone deserves to live in a safe place, an environment that has clean water and important infrastructure. And so I think that was a great way to celebrate the rest of their continued strong community development, and the things that they do together to promote community and to listen to the voice of the residents and what they'd like to see come from that community. And I wanted to highlight that board and that community really amplify and really focus on the voices of the residents who live there and what they'd like to see for their parking going forward. So very exciting work. And then one thing I forgot to highlight was the Sustainable Living Fair. I just wanted to say that I went last night, and it was continuation of some of the work from Heidi Pruis and Abby and from Leah Schneider last night. In full disclosure, it was one of my women groups, but I had helped them connect. But these women, a very large group of women, wanted to really listen and hear about our air quality program and the work that we have done in air quality and ozone, and it was a really great presentation. I want to thank Leah Schneider and thank Tom Gonzalez for supporting her to come do this, because next week is Air Quality Week. And she did a really great job of showing all that we've done in the long history and a lot of the work we've done in the last 5 years, including working on the hearth fire and Prospect Energy to be able to cap and work with that. And I want to just give a shout out to Leah. You were engaging and had some good humor, and I appreciate you coming and sharing with those women, especially one of them who had taught air quality and science at CSU for decades. She was so thrilled with the presentation and great partnerships, and they're very thrilled with the Loveland site. So I wanted to just share a little bit of how that went very well last night. And I'm glad that we get out in the community and help folks see how important it is for air quality impacts us all, and it's something we should all be aware of, and what we're doing to help bring the data, but also do what we can to mitigate what we can. So that's all I had to share, and now we're going to move on to our agenda. We have an executive session today, and it should be fairly brief. We will not be a decision, so we will not be returning for this executive session. So for all of you that are joining us online, thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a great week, and I'll ask Commissioner Stevens to please make that motion.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that this board go into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 24-64024A, purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real or personal property.
Thank you for that motion. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. We are now in executive session. Have a great day.